Pizza guys of Reddit, what's the strangest thing you've seen while delivering pizzas? I delivered a pizza to a young girl who was home alone, and when she opened the door, her dog immediately ran away. I handed her the pizza, got in my car, found the dog, and returned it. She left me no tip, so I was feeling kinda salty about it on the way back to the restaurant. A few hours later, her mother called the store asking to speak to me. She thanked me and explained they had left the tip money, but her daughter was so upset about the dog that she forgot to give it to me. I worked at this pizza place for 2 more years through college, and they would get 2 large pepperoni pizzas and request me to deliver it every week after that. And they always tipped me at least $25. Gee, sounds like these people spent a lot of money on pizza. But that is one thing I don't miss about having a dog, is having to chase it around the block every time it would get out the front door. I had someone answer the door once with a snake on his shoulders. Not like a milk snake or a gardener, but a bald python, probably about 6 feet long. As he closed the door, I heard him say to someone that I hadn't reacted at all. He sounded so disappointed. Yeah, let's be honest, a lot of people are really weird in public just because they want to try and get a reaction out of people. Just the other day, showed up to a house to be greeted by 2 guys, about 25, on the roof in their underwear, clearly ecstatic about the pizza being delivered. Well hey, maybe now's your chance to finally get to live that Breaking Bad scene and just chuck a pizza on the roof. Some guy ordered a large pepperoni pizza. When I got to the house, he wasn't there, so I called him out. He told me he was in the bathroom taking a crap, and I had to wait 18-ish minutes to get my pay. Man, if I had to wait that long just waiting out front of his house, I would have just started eating his pizza. I deliver for DoorDash and Grubhub, sometimes pizzas. One time I picked up an order from each app. Same exact order, from the same restaurant, both named James, to the same hotel. When I knocked on the door, 2 guys were there and asked me which was I, DoorDash or Grubhub. I told them I was both and have both orders. They started to laugh really hard. When I asked what was so funny, they told me that they had bet on which one would come first. They thought it was going to be 2 different drivers, and never thought one person would be using both apps. I laughed too, and asked them which one was James. They told me they were both named James. I still wonder what other funny things those 2 guys try to come up with. Actually, I have kind of a funny idea that would make for a good video, but I don't really have any channels that it would work for, so I don't care if somebody steals this. But you just have a couple people that have to order a pizza for the other person, but they're both trying to build a custom pizza that just makes the most horrible, like, something nobody would ever eat. And then it would also be funny if you could see the reaction of the people at Domino's who have to make it. A previous co-worker of mine delivered pizza when he was in college, and he told me that he once pulled up to a house and a group of high schoolers ran across the street with a finish line when he got there. They ordered from Pizza Hut and Domino's at the same time. I don't remember which one he worked for, but he won the race. Well, too bad I guess he wasn't working for Pizza Hut and Domino's at the same time. That would have been a little weird. There was this one house where a young couple had ordered pizza. I reached quite early and probably disturbed their sex session. The drunk dude had no idea that he had put on his girl's skirt. Not strange, but very difficult not to laugh at. Well, maybe if you're doing something time-sensitive like that, you should do carry-out so that you can control when you have to get the pizza, and it's not just going to show up at a random time. I was delivering a pizza to this house, and when I was standing on the front steps waiting for the guy to pay, I could hear all this hootin' and hollerin' from inside. The guy keeps looking back into the living room and laughing. After punching in his info, he hands the machine back to me and says, "F man, you gotta see this." He steps back, and I walk into the living room where there's probably 5 other dudes watching some guy screw this 700-pound woman's folded-over stomach on a massive TV. I think we might have different definitions of "you've gotta see this." Back in college, when I used to deliver pizzas, I delivered to the local county jail. An officer was taking someone to jail. The guy going to jail, still with his hands cuffed behind his back, got away from the officer and took off as I was walking in and ran into me. I'm pretty sure this guy was tripping on meth. The officer caught up to both of us on the ground, and were able to subdue him. I was covered in pizza sauce, and the officers on shift took the pizza, paid, and each gave me $20. I told my manager, and we remade the order for the officers, and I re-delivered the order. The police were grateful, and I was given another tip. 1 deliver, and I made about $400. I should add, every time they ordered pizza from us again, they always requested the guy who knew how to take a charge, and would always tip me well. Good times. Okay, so what I'm learning from this video is that if you're a pizza delivery guy, if you really want to make some extra money, you either have to save a dog, or get tackled by a meth head. I hope you're taking notes. I once delivered a pizza late at night. The person who took the call told me that the person who ordered, let's call him Mark, was an old man and may take a while to get to the door. I got to the house, and all the lights are off. No car in the driveway. I ring the doorbell, no answer. I knock on the door, no answer. I call the person's phone, no answer. Call again, still nothing. At this point I'd waited for about 15 minutes for this person, and was walking back to my car to leave when I hear the front door open. So I go back. Again, there aren't any lights on, so I can only see the head of a young woman peek from behind the door, and she refuses to open it all the way, even to take the pizza. I then hear another woman behind her saying, Who cares if he sees? Open the door. So she opens a little more to sign the receipt. She couldn't see, so I offered to shine my phone's flashlight so she can sign the receipt. I then realized that both of these women are naked. Me, being the good employee I was, averted my eyes as she signed the receipt, and I started walking back to my car. As I was walking away, one of the women yells to me, "Have a good night, you know Mark is." And I burst into laughter, as I had totally forgot that this was the house of an elderly man. Like, okay, I'm not saying that you gotta, clean your whole house like you're having somebody over, but if you're having a delivery driver come to your house, couldn't you at least prepare a little bit? I mean, it's only gonna be maybe 20 or 30 minutes for them to show up. Customer paid with card, and he had instructions to leave the pizza on the bench in a public area, drop it off, and quickly leave the area. I left, but pulled on a side street where I could see the bench. I waited probably close to 5 minutes, and then I see a man bust out of the dilapidated building I thought was empty. He runs up and grabs the pizza. He spins a whole 360 degrees as he's glancing in every direction, as if he was afraid he was being watched. Then he hurries back to the place, and when he gets to the door, he sees me, and his eyes get huge and wide, paranoid and fearful. He slammed the door shut. I just think he was tweaking or something. Wouldn't be out of the ordinary around here. I suppose that if I made it a mission to myself to be able to get food without having any human contact whatsoever, and I also don't have an address that can be delivered to, yeah, I can't think of many other options besides this. I live by a massive government facility. I won't name it, but it's in the DC area. The delivery was done at about 10:30 at night. I was told to ask for a Tim when I arrived at the back gate of a facility. I stopped at the gate, and 2 black SUVs approached me. A man exited the second car and came and asked me what the name he told me to ask for, and I said Tim, and gave him the pizza and got back in my car. Tim got back in his car on the passenger side, and I turned around at the gate and left. The second car proceeded to follow me back to the pizza shop, and then sat across the street for 15 minutes, and only left when I made a second delivery. That was my last delivery as a pizza guy. If they were willing to drive all the way out to the store, then why didn't they just order carryout? I don't get it. Some of these people just do not make any sense. I delivered to a hotel in the middle of a local golf course, called the number to let them know I was there, and was told to come on up. I get to the room, and when the guy answered, there was a large group of guys, all in golf attire, surrounding a single guy in a chair. He was bound and blindfolded. The one that answered didn't even bat an eye, just asked how much and tipped me $30. Warily, I took the money and walked away, but before the door was fully closed, I heard one of the guys ask, "I wonder if he knows this is a..." Before I even left the parking lot, the guy that answered the door called me to say that the bound guy was his brother, and he was bound and blindfolded because it's a bachelor party, and the stripper was waiting to come out. I just showed up way earlier than they thought I would. Yeah, okay guy, you guys do what you're gonna do, just give me the money and let me leave. A mate of mine was a pizza delivery boy during high school. He told me he used to pull down driveways en route when kids were outside playing. They'd freak out thinking mom and dad ordered pizza for dinner. He'd watch them lose it, then he'd just reverse out and drive off, breaking their little hearts. Hey, that's actually pretty good. I don't know if I live in a place with just a very appealing looking driveway, but I swear, every time I'm outside, I see somebody that has to come use my driveway to turn around. I delivered pizza for 2 years. The strangest thing was a woman ordering right next door, which was €2 extra for delivery. When she opened the door, she was almost naked, wearing only a bra, had huge fake breasts and lip fillers, platinum long hair, your textbook bimbo. The order was €18 and was already paid online. I told her it was already paid. However, the lady took €20 out of her bra and handed them over to me, winked and said, "Keep the change." Needless to say, it made my day. Man, who knew it was so expensive to flirt with pizza delivery drivers? I guess if you really like one, you gotta keep ordering to have them keep coming to your house. I delivered a pizza to the back door of a funeral home. 2 guys in their 20s answered the door, both wearing long black rubber aprons over their shirts and ties, and long black rubber gloves. The aprons were glistening with some fluids or other. Fortunately, the guy paying took off his gloves before pulling out his wallet and paying. I was only 18 at the time. Kinda freaked me out. To the point that today, 42 years later, I still remember it. See, sometimes you just have to look at these stories from a different perspective. Because as somebody who gets called to just show up to some random person's house, if they're not presentable in the same way that somebody would when you are going to visit someone, then it will seem a little bit off. But from the other perspective, some people could just be in the middle of something super weird that normally you would never see, but they get hungry too, and they just say, "Hey, maybe we should order a pizza while we're doing this." I showed up to a mansion in the rich part of the suburbs. The house was completely dark, so I call the number. No answer. I get out and ring the doorbell 3 times. No answer. I start banging on the door and call again with no answer. All of a sudden the door flies open and some guy in his underwear and an open bathrobe, breathing all heavy and sweating, reaches out, snags the pizza, just throws the money at me and shuts the door. Another time I show up and the guy opened all excitedly with a big creepy smile on his face. Gestures me to come in and I say no. He won't do anything until I step inside. So I take a step in, and he says to me, "Okay, so place the pizza on the floor right there." And he points to a specific place. "Place the Pepsi there," points to the coffee table, "and put my breadsticks there," points to the opposite side where the pizza is. I just look at him and say, "Okay." As soon as I do it, he says, "Okay, your money is on the floor by the door. Have an amazing day. Thank you very much." So I walked out backwards, not taking my eyes off him, grab my money, and leave. Weird freaking people out there, man. Well, my best guess is maybe he's just a massive germaphobe. Especially if it happened in the last 2 years, this probably wouldn't even seem that out of the ordinary. This guy would order boneless chicken wings, a 2-liter of Diet Pepsi, and the cinnamon rolls every Friday. I can't remember the name of the order. I think it was Michelle. Well, a woman never answered the door, and this guy gave us all the heebie-jeebies. One day I said, "Oh, why is Michelle always on the order?" Michelle was his cat. The cat would eat the chicken, and he would eat the cinnamon rolls. Oh wow, I guess you really spoil your cat there. Although I'm not sure why you have to put your cat's name on the delivery order. One time I was delivering to this really nice house, almost like a mansion. So the guy comes waltzing out of his big front door, clearly intoxicated, just all over the place. He attempts to give me the money, but starts blabbering on about something I can't understand. While he's scavenging around his pockets, trying to find the rest that he owes me, until this one woman comes out shouting, "Leo, Leo, what are you doing out here? What are we gonna do with you?" She apologizes for Leo and proceeds to pay and tip pretty well, all while Leo gets one last question in with a smile ear to ear. "You like MILF? She's single." I'm kinda just taken aback. At the time I was a 16-year-old kid just driving food around, so it threw me off. She then proceeds to scold him in a motherly type way. "I am not single. This is my boyfriend's house." Nothing crazy, but always thought it was funny nonetheless. Well, that's all the pizza delivery stories I have for today. If you notice, there were quite a few stories of people answering the door naked, and that's after I cut out, like, more than half of them. So apparently that's just a normal thing that pizza delivery people have to deal with. So if that's your thing, I'm pretty sure Domino's is hiring right now. But that's gonna do it for this week. I'm sure a lot of you were wondering why I changed the channel name to just Imagine. And I don't have a great answer for it, but I feel like I've just been wanting to go through a bunch of small changes with this channel, hence why I'm standing up. I've been trying to put in a lot more effort in every way possible. I'm trying to get these videos to be as good as possible, trying to get this channel to grow again. And I've always felt that Imagine If the Internet Was Real was just such a mouthful that I'd rather just have a one-word name. But anyways, have a good weekend, go order some pizza.